Here's the part nobody tells you about buying a car. The price you negotiate is often the smallest part of the money the dealership makes from you. Most people walk into a dealership believing the battle is all about the sticker price. They spend hours researching invoice prices, comparing offers online, and preparing to negotiate every last dollar. And when they finally manage to push the dealer close to the so-called dealer cost, they leave feeling victorious, like they outsmarted the system. But the system was never built around just the visible price. What most buyers don't realize is that modern car dealerships operate like financial machines. The number you see on the sales sheet is only the surface layer. Underneath it are hidden streams of profit quietly working in the background: manufacturer bonuses, dealer incentives, financing commissions, warranty markups, paperwork fees, insurance products, and back-end agreements customers never even hear about. That's why two people can walk into the same dealership, buy the exact same car, in the same week, and leave having paid dramatically different amounts. The dealership doesn't survive by selling cars alone. It thrives by understanding human psychology, financing behavior, and long-term revenue. The car itself is often just the entry point into a much larger financial ecosystem. And once you understand that, something powerful happens. You stop negotiating emotionally. You stop feeling pressured by sales tactics. You stop confusing monthly payment with actual cost. Because real financial intelligence isn't about getting lucky during a negotiation. It's about understanding how the game is designed before you ever sit down at the table. The moment you see the hidden layers, you stop being just another customer and start becoming someone who makes decisions with clarity, confidence, and control. What if I told you the dealership could still make thousands of dollars, even after you negotiated an amazing price? That's the illusion most car buyers never see. People think the negotiation ends when the salesperson agrees to lower the sticker price. They believe the battle is visible, a simple back and forth over numbers on a piece of paper. But behind every car sale is a hidden financial structure built with layer after layer of profit flowing silently beneath the surface. And the craziest part? Most customers never notice any of it. There are dealer holdbacks quietly paid by manufacturers after the sale, hidden bonuses for moving certain models off the lot, massive volume incentives triggered when dealerships hit monthly sales targets, regional rebates, inventory financing assistance, private manufacturer payouts that never appear on consumer reports or car buying websites. The invoice price people obsess over? That often isn't the dealership's true cost at all. The dealership may act like they're sacrificing profit to help you out. But in reality, money is coming from directions you can't see. The car business isn't built on one stream of income. It's built on an ecosystem of incentives designed to maximize profit at every stage of the transaction. But this isn't just about cars. It's about understanding how the real world works. The wealthiest and most financially aware people understand that every industry has hidden mechanics. The surface story is rarely the full story. Banks, insurance companies, credit card networks, dealerships, they all make money in ways most people never take the time to learn. And that knowledge changes everything. Because once you stop looking only at the advertised price, you begin to see the system differently. You ask better questions. You negotiate with confidence. You recognize leverage where other people see pressure. Most people walk into financial decisions blind. The smart ones learn how the machine actually works before they play the game. If you've ever bought a car and thought the hard part was over once you agreed on the price, comment 1 below. Because what happens next might shock you. Most buyers think the dealership battlefield is the showroom floor, the negotiation, the back and forth, the manager disappearing into the office pretending to fight for a better deal. That's where people believe the real money is made. But it's not. The most profitable room in the entire dealership is the small office waiting for you after the handshake. The finance office. And that's exactly why so many people walk into it with their guard completely down. By that point, emotions have already taken over. You're excited, relieved, ready to drive home in your new car. Your brain tells you the negotiation is finished. But for the dealership, the real game is only beginning. Because the finance manager isn't just processing paperwork. They're one of the highest paid salespeople in the building. This is where dealerships quietly generate thousands of dollars in extra profit through financing markups. Extended warranties, gap insurance, protection packages, registration fees, and add-ons most customers barely question. A 1% increase in your loan interest rate may seem small monthly. But across years, it becomes massive profit for the dealership. And the reason this works so well is simple. Most people focus on monthly payments instead of total cost. That's how financial systems trap people everywhere, not just in car dealerships. Small numbers spread across long periods feel harmless. But over time, they quietly drain wealth from people who never learn to look deeper. The financially aware don't just ask, "Can I afford the payment?" They ask, "Who profits from this structure?" That single mindset shift changes everything. Because wealth isn't built by avoiding every mistake. It's built by understanding how money flows before you agree to the deal. And once you see what's really happening in that finance office, you'll never walk into one the same way again. Have you ever noticed how the most expensive decisions in life are rarely hidden in the big numbers, but in the small details people ignore? That's exactly how the finance office at a car dealership works. Most buyers walk in focused on one thing, the price of the car. They negotiate for hours trying to save a few $100s, feeling proud when they finally get the dealer to lower the sticker price. But while their attention stays locked on the front-end deal, an entirely different game is happening behind the scenes. The real profits are buried inside the financing structure. A slightly higher interest rate on the loan. An extended warranty presented as peace of mind. Gap insurance wrapped in fear of future accidents. Protection packages. Paperwork fees. Registration markups. Each one individually feels small. Reasonable. Almost harmless. But together? They quietly transform into thousands of dollars flowing away from the buyer and into the dealership. And here's the powerful lesson most people miss. Financial traps rarely look dangerous in the moment. They look convenient. They look comfortable. They look like just a few extra dollars a month. That's how people slowly lose control of their financial future without even realizing it. Not through one catastrophic mistake, but through dozens of small agreements made without full awareness. The financially intelligent live differently. They slow down when others rush. They read the contract when others skim. They ask questions when others feel embarrassed to speak up. Because they understand something critical. Every financial document is designed by someone who profits when you don't fully understand it. And once you realize that, you stop being emotionally driven by excitement, pressure, or urgency. You start making decisions from clarity instead of impulse. That mindset doesn't just help you buy a better car. It helps you build a stronger financial life. Because true wealth isn't only about earning more money. It's about protecting yourself from the invisible systems designed to quietly take it away. Here's a financial truth that sounds completely backward. Walking into a dealership and saying, "I'm paying cash," could actually cost you thousands of dollars. Most people grow up believing cash is power. Pay cash, and you avoid debt. Pay cash, and you negotiate from strength. Pay cash, and businesses will respect you more. In many situations, that's true. But car dealerships operate by a completely different set of rules. Because at a dealership, the car is not the main product. Financing is the moment a buyer proudly announces, "I'm paying cash." The dealership instantly sees something disappear, one of its biggest profit streams. No loan interest markup. No financing commission. No extended payment structure generating long-term revenue. In their eyes, the deal just became dramatically less profitable. And businesses always protect profit. So instead of rewarding the cash buyer, the dealership often becomes less flexible on the vehicle price itself. The customer thinks they're simplifying the transaction. But in reality, they may be giving away negotiating leverage before the conversation even begins. That realization shocks people because it forces them to rethink something deeper than car buying. The world often rewards strategy more than appearances. Financially successful people understand this instinctively. They know money isn't only about what you have, it's about how systems respond to your decisions. Wealthy people don't make emotional financial moves just to feel smart or powerful. They study incentives. They understand how businesses think. They position themselves where the leverage is strongest. That's why financial education changes lives. Once you understand how profit structures work, you stop reacting emotionally and start negotiating intelligently. You stop assuming the obvious choice is always the smartest one. And you begin seeing opportunities hidden behind the surface of every financial decision. Because true financial confidence isn't about showing people you have money. It's about understanding the rules well enough that you never have to prove it in the first place. If you've ever believed working harder automatically means making smarter financial decisions, comment 1 below, because this story proves why knowledge will always outperform effort. Two neighbors. Same dealership. Same car. Same month. But one of them paid $2,400 more. Not because he was less successful. Not because he was careless. Not because he lacked money. He simply didn't understand how the system was designed. Derek walked into the dealership focused on strategy. He researched pricing, negotiated carefully, and most importantly, he allowed the dealership to believe financing was still part of the deal. That single decision kept him valuable in the eyes of the dealership. To them, Derek represented future profit opportunities. Travis did the opposite. He proudly walked in and immediately announced, "I'm paying cash." In his mind, that statement sounded powerful, responsible, smart. But the moment he said those words, the dealership instantly knew something critical. A massive portion of their potential profit had disappeared. No financing markup. No loan commission. No back-end revenue stream. So the dealership adjusted. Less flexibility. Harder negotiation. Higher final price. And Travis never realized the game had changed before it even started. That's the lesson most people miss in life. Success is not only about working hard or having good intentions. It's about understanding incentives. The world responds differently depending on how you position yourself inside the system. The financially aware understand human behavior, business psychology, and leverage. They know every negotiation has invisible motivations operating beneath the surface. And once you understand those motivations, everything changes. You stop making decisions based on emotion or ego. You stop trying to look financially strong. You start moving strategically. Because real wealth isn't built by proving you have money. Real wealth is built by understanding how money moves behind the scenes while everyone else only sees the surface. And sometimes, the difference between winning and overpaying by thousands is just one sentence spoken too early. What if I told you the dealership often knows whether you're going to overpay before you even sit down with a salesperson? Most buyers think they're simply filling out forms, answering routine questions, and moving through a normal purchasing process. But behind the scenes, every step is quietly designed to gather information about one thing: how profitable you are going to be. The clipboard at the front desk isn't just paperwork, The credit check isn't always just about approval. Even casual questions about financing or trade-ins are part of a larger system built to measure your value before negotiations truly begin. And the moment you reveal too much too early, the balance of power starts shifting away from you. That's what makes financial intelligence so important in today's world. The people who win financially are rarely the loudest people in the room. They're the people who understand timing, leverage, and information control. Because information is power. The dealership studies buyers every single day. They know emotional triggers. They know how excitement changes behavior. They know most people become more agreeable once they imagine themselves driving the car home. And they know that once a customer mentally commits emotionally, negotiating strength begins to disappear. That principle exists far beyond car dealerships. Banks do it. Credit card companies do it. Marketing companies do it. Every major industry studies human behavior because understanding psychology is often more profitable than selling the actual product. But once you recognize the game, you stop walking into financial decisions blindly. You become calmer, more patient, more observant. You stop feeling pressured to reveal everything immediately. And you start understanding that silence, preparation, and timing are forms of leverage. That's when financial confidence begins to grow. Not because you suddenly have unlimited money, but because you finally understand how systems are designed to influence your decisions. And the people who understand the system? They almost always make better choices than the people reacting emotionally inside it. What if the smartest way to buy a car isn't avoiding the system, but understanding it so well that you use it to your advantage? If that mindset makes sense to you, comment 1 below. Most people walk into negotiations trying to fight the dealership head-on. They think winning means rejecting financing, refusing every offer, and proving they can pay cash immediately. But truly financially intelligent people understand something deeper. You don't beat the system with emotion. You beat it with strategy. The most effective car buying strategy isn't about looking rich or acting tough. It's about understanding how the dealership makes money and positioning yourself where you hold the most leverage. That's why smart buyers often allow the dealership to believe financing is still on the table during negotiations. Because as long as the dealership expects future profit from financing, they become more flexible on the actual purchase price. That changes everything. Suddenly, you're no longer negotiating against the full price structure. You're negotiating against their expectation of future back-end profit. And expectations influence behavior more than most people realize. But the real power comes from what happens next. Financially aware buyers slow down and read every detail carefully. They check for loan origination fees. They verify there's no prepayment penalty. They negotiate warranties, insurance products, and add-ons instead of blindly accepting them. And once the deal is complete, they often pay off the loan quickly before meaningful interest ever builds up. That's not manipulation. That's financial awareness. The world rewards people who understand incentives, contracts, and timing. Most people spend their lives reacting emotionally to financial systems they never took the time to study. But the people who build long-term wealth think differently. They stay calm under pressure. They ask better questions. They understand that every contract is designed with profit in mind. And because of that, they move through life with more confidence, more control, and fewer expensive mistakes. Because true financial freedom doesn't come from avoiding the game entirely. It comes from finally understanding how the game is actually played. What if the biggest financial mistakes most people make aren't caused by bad luck, but by simply not understanding the hidden rules of the game? And if you want more videos exposing how money really works, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Most people spend their entire lives believing financial success is only about working harder, earning more, or getting lucky opportunities. But the deeper truth is this: the world rewards people who understand systems. Car dealerships are just one example. On the surface, buying a car feels simple. You negotiate a price, sign paperwork, and drive away. But underneath that experience is an entire financial structure designed around psychology, financing, incentives, and hidden profit layers most people never even notice. And that same pattern exists everywhere. Banks profit from debt structures people barely understand. Credit card companies profit from emotional spending habits. Insurance companies profit from fear and uncertainty. Businesses study human behavior every single day because understanding people is often more profitable than selling products. That's why financial education changes lives. The moment you begin understanding how money flows behind the scenes, you stop making emotional decisions that slowly drain your future. You become more patient, more intentional, more aware of how contracts, payments, and incentives truly work. And over time, those small mindset shifts create massive differences in financial outcomes. The people who struggle financially aren't always less hardworking. Many of them were simply never taught how the system actually operates. Meanwhile, financially intelligent people learn to recognize leverage, timing, negotiation psychology, and long-term consequences before making major decisions. That awareness becomes power. Because once you see the hidden layers behind money, you can never unsee them. You stop reacting emotionally to pressure. You stop falling for surface-level marketing. And you begin making decisions like someone building long-term wealth instead of short-term comfort. So, if this video opened your eyes to something most people never realize, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because the next financial decision you make could either quietly cost you thousands or completely change your future.